And we are live. How are you guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for taking your time in watching us right now, wherever you are. Put a comment out there where you are in the world, and we want to know how global we are. Let me introduce myself. My name is Liz, originally from the Philippines, and I am the owner of this business page. And with me today is my sis, my coach, my mentor. It's Janae. Hello.
Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Fellow employees out there, how's work? Are you still at work? Overtime again? Or are you at home maybe preparing for dinner? So I hope you all have a productive Thursday. So I just got home as well from my 9 to 5 job. So I rendered a bit of overtime earlier. But right now I'm here. I'm here working on my business, inviting people out there. So with Liz, one of my business partner from Arizona. And yeah, we're live again. If you have been following us for quite some time now, you've seen, like last week, we started this live interview every Tuesday and Thursday. So that's why we are here today and we have a very special guest.
Yes.
So if you're watching this on a live or on a replay, just comment below where you're tuning from. Definitely we wanted to know where you are, because one of our goal is to one day go to your country, visit, your country and experience the culture there. So I'm very happy today. I'm grateful that we are here again. We get to share this opportunity to a lot of people. Liz?
Yes. Okay. Without further ado, let's introduce our very special guest. We are grateful that she said yes to our invitation. Okay. It is Coach Florence. Hello, Coach.
Hello, hello. Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me here.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Coach.
We are just checking our your Facebook page, sis. Can you see that you're on live? Because I'm trying to look at your page right now, but I don't see that we are. Not sure.
Oh, okay.
Do you see that you're on live?
Yes, it said here we are live.
How about on your page?
Let me see.
I'm so sorry, everyone. So this is, this is normal for like live streaming, and forgive us because like what we've shared the last
We
time,
are
it's
live, yeah.
our we're live, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so forgive us because the last time that we shared with you, it's our second week to use this platform. We love StreamYard. We are still on the process of getting to know more about the features of StreamYard. But definitely we are live and we have Coach Florence Delaney. Is that correct? Coach Florence from Alberta, Canada.
Yep.
Woohoo! Welcome again, Coach Florence, and
Woo!
thank you for giving us a few minutes of
My
your
honor.
Thursday, doing this live interview. So, Liz, would you like to start? Okay, so I think her dog is there
Oh,
again,
I think
but yeah, but
I
we'll
think she's
go.
gonna go.
Yeah, he wanted to say hello as well. But yeah, but we'll go ahead and we'll let you Florence introduce yourself, and then yeah, we'll go from there.
Sure. Yeah. Isn't this amazing? When you talk about that, coach, this is live and we're real people, and sometimes there's dogs barking or kids yelling and stuff like that, and I know that's what's going on there, but that's okay because we're not here to show how perfect we are. We're here to be transparent. We're here to let you just learn a little bit more about what we do in the online space. So I am Florence, and I'm absolutely honored to be here. I'm originally from Eastern Nova Scotia, but my husband and I have been we've took up stakes here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, probably for almost the last 40 years. Now, before I get into the digital business, I was in the airline business. And they say sometimes you have
Ooh.
about 5 or 7 careers in your lifetime, but I think I had two major ones. One was in the airline business, and before that, I was a floral designer. And then, when my children were little, I have 3 grown daughters right now, little granddaughter as well. A lot of different odd jobs, but right now I basically focus my life on my online business.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that, Florence. I would just like to piggyback on what you said earlier about going on live and showcasing the real us, right? So like what we've also shared the last time, one of the things that we love about this business is that it really helped us to build our confidence because we are just showcasing who we are. Whatever you're seeing in the camera, this is us. This is the real us. We're just normal everyday people who wanted change, who wanted to stop, working tirelessly without just going in circles. So yeah, so this is the real us, and we are happy about that. We love what we do, and yeah, it's exciting to hear. It's exciting to hear different stories of business owners. Like the last live interview that we did, Coach Tanya was in the corporate industry for 10 years, and now this is my first time to interview someone who used to work in like airlines. So yeah, so just in how incredible it is, right, Liz?
Sorry, they're barking so crazy right now. But yes, I kind of on and off, you guys. Sorry.
It's fine, it's fine. But yeah, but definitely. So let's proceed with like the first question. So
Okay.
Florence already introduced herself, and yeah, let's proceed with the first question.
Okay, Coach Florence, what was your turning point that made you decide to start an online business?
That's such a great question. I think I'll start by saying that um, I wasn't looking for an online business. The decision came about in knowing what I didn't want. So I'll go back a little bit here. I guess there's two major things that happened in the last 5 years in my life that I wouldn't say that opened my eyes to a different way of thinking, thinking outside the box as far as making a living. The first one was in 2018, my husband was diagnosed with colon cancer. That was probably the worst phone call that anybody could ever get. And I'll go back a little bit. So my husband and I met after 3 months. We were engaged and we were married. So it was love at first sight. And we've been together for 38 years. And we built our family, raised our daughters. And over the years, it was tough, as the cost of living is not easy. And when I raised my daughters, or say we raised our daughters, nobody really had 3 children at the time. So we were a large family. We were a family of 5, and we struggled and we struggled and we struggled. And it wasn't until, later in life, my husband had a great job. I was working in the airline business. I had almost 20 years under my belt. So I was making a good living. And then when that phone call came, everything changed for us. Everything absolutely changed. There was no option. My husband had to go for surgery. So my husband went for surgery. Things didn't actually work out the way we had planned. My husband ended up being very, very ill. He ended up on life support. And this is emotional. I'm not here to bring anybody down. I'm here, like Janaea said, this is real. We are real people. This is my real story. And so I remember just sitting there time after time, months after months, and just praying and thinking, this is the one person that's been through everything with me, the ups and the downs and the hardships and the joys and everything. And here he is sitting here, lying here, fighting for his life. Like, there's got to be more to life than this. This can't be it. And you know what?
Sure.
The good Lord has a way of answering your prayers, and eventually my husband got well. It was a long time, before he came home, and, there was a lot of things that went with that. There was a lot of physical challenges. My husband couldn't go back to work. I had taken quite a leave from my job, just because I was in no state, mentally to be able to be working. And I needed to be with him. I needed to be with him to help him for appointments. Like, we were probably going to appointments every single day, just because there was a lot of, like I said, challenges and things with that. So eventually, we started to piece things back together as to what our new life was going to be. So that was the first turning point. The second turning point was, when the world turned upside down.
Yeah.
We were just getting back on our feet. Every cent that we had, as far as our savings and our everything, our tax free, our stocks, everything, we put that and had to spend that when my husband was in the hospital, because again, I couldn't work and there was no money coming into the house. We didn't want to lose our mortgage. We didn't want to, the bill payer is still knocking at the door. You still have to pay your bills. So up until that point, we thought we were doing well. If I wanted something, I bought it. If I wanted to go somewhere, I went somewhere. We had worked hard over our lives, came to a point in our late 50s that we thought we were doing okay. We thought we were doing okay. But all that money was gone because we had to pay our bills. And then when the world turned upside down, I was let go from my long-term career. So that was turning point number 2. That was probably, it definitely wasn't as bad as hearing, the first news when your husband is sick. But now I felt like a failure. I'm the only one that makes an income. We have no money left. What am I going to do? Like, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to find a solution? And I think it was at that point, I just remember crying myself to sleep every night thinking, how did I get here? We're good people. We pay our bills. I go to church. I take care of my kids, my granddaughter. Like, how did we get here? And honestly, it's nobody's fault. Sometimes you have no control over those things, and life happens for a reason beyond your understanding. And that's the power, I believe, of God.
Yes.
Sometimes those hardships bring us things that we don't realize where we're going to go. So I decided at that point that I couldn't allow anybody else to have control over my time. The biggest thing for me was time. I needed to find a way that I could earn a living. If I could work from home, that would be great. If there was some flexibility around that, that would even be better, because we still had a lot of doctor's appointments. And then I really wanted to spend time. I almost lost the love of my life. I didn't want to go spend another 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week trying to make up all that money that we had just lost. So, you know what? I remember searching, I just Googled it. How can I make money online at home? And, lo and behold, some ads start popping up. And I took a chance. And I took a chance thinking, if I don't do this, the alternative is worse than if I do. And basically that was my turning point. My husband was sick. I lost my job. I didn't want anybody else controlling my life anymore. And I found this business.
Wow. Wow. Like that's a lot. And thank you, Florence, for being
That is a lot.
vulnerable,
Yes, thank you.
for sharing that personal stuff that you underwent before. But I hope your husband is doing okay now. And yeah, definitely
You know what? My husband is well. God, praise God. Again, he doesn't work just because of the challenges, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. He is well and he's cancer free, and it's been 5 years. And so again, praise God.
Yes, amen. Amen
for
to
sure,
that.
for sure. But yeah, but definitely
Yeah.
just wow. How incredible, I mean, like like what I've mentioned earlier, I'm lost for words on like addressing and hearing a lot of stories, different stories. And from there you will really it will really prove, that everything happens for a reason, right?
Yes.
So whatever you're going through right now, definitely there's a reason for that. Maybe you don't understand it right now, but definitely it will all make sense, right? In his perfect time, it will all make sense. But yeah, Liz, you want to add something?
I'm lost for words. I mean, I can't imagine being in her shoe. Your husband is sick, and then, you're losing everything. You don't have money to pay the billings. it's tough. It was really tough to be in that position. Thank you. Thank you for sharing it.
But yeah, so um let's move on to the second question.
Okay. How did you overcome that fear to take the next step? Okay, next.
Okay, first I want to say I don't. It's been a long time. I should say it hasn't been a long time since I've shared that particular part of my story.
Mhm.
When people struggle and life is real, like we're all real, we all have struggles. I'm not the only one that's gone
Yeah.
through a lot of hardships. I know that. I know a lot of people in the business that have gone through a lot more difficult challenges than I have. But it's taken me a long time because when you're living it, it's difficult to speak about it. It's only recently that I've been able to speak about it because I know that there's somebody watching. I know that you're watching this and thinking that there's no way that you can dig yourself out of a hole. And it's so not true. And you know what?
Yes.
When I think back that if I hadn't have lost my job, if that door did not close, that other door would not have opened. It would, and if it did open, I probably would have dismissed it, thinking that I didn't need it or something. So you're so right. So it's not easy to come on and share your story, but if I can touch one heart, if we can share one story to somebody that's sitting there thinking that they're so deep and they can't get out, then that's my purpose. It's not to make anybody feel sorry for me. It's not to make anybody have pity on me. That's absolutely not my purpose. My purpose is so that you can see that struggles are real, but there is a
Mhm.
solution. There is a
Yeah.
solution. And when you talk about how did I overcome that fear, oh my God, I was absolutely terrified. I was terrified. I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't looking for an online business. Again, I Googled, how can I make money at home online? And all these things start popping up. And then I seen this and I just thought, I was terrified if I didn't. I've been afraid of many things in my life. And I think when I think back to when I was a kid, in school, I am a true introvert, shy person by nature. I absolutely am. And I know that you ladies can probably relate to some of that as well. I remember in school, as a kid, if I had to read, I couldn't even read in front of people. I would try to memorize the words and get all confused and everything. So I think at a young age, I learned how to cope with that fear. I learned how to, you know, um, overcome those moments by myself that I can move on. And I seen my mother struggle with so many things in her life that I seen her strength, and I dug deep. I dug deep because I knew if I didn't do it, then the only option was for me to go and find another job making probably minimum wage. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not where my
Mhm.
life needed to be at the time. And miss the most important thing was start at the bottom of the ladder again and miss time
Mhm.
with my husband. So I knew what I didn't want, and so it was so easy for me to click that button, as terrified as I was, because I knew nothing about. I absolutely knew nothing about running a business. I really didn't even know it was a business. I just knew there was a way I could make money, and this just fell on my lap.
So you have no other business background, just this one.
Oh gosh. No, absolutely not. I mean, I worked in the airline business, but our system is so different. I mean, it's built for an airline, so you learn a skill and you know how to do it. So I didn't even know how to put a picture on my phone, and I'm not joking. Here I am. I'm in my late 50s. There's no income coming into the house. I'm a woman, and I'm toned in on specific skills for the career that I've had for the last 18 years. And here I am stepping outside of my comfort zone and trying to go run a business. I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. And you know what? I took it on faith. When I watched
Mhm.
the information and they told me that they were going to provide me with training, I would get a coach, I would get a mentor. I didn't have to be tech savvy. It was all visual based. I said, how can I not? How can I
For
not at
sure.
least look at this? The risk of not doing it was higher than the risk of me pressing that button.
For sure,
Very
for
true.
sure. I love the part that you said that, someone who's introvert as Florence did this business. So what more, what more if you're not
Yeah.
introvert? So, we keep on getting questions about they cannot do it because, they don't have any idea about running a business, starting an online business. So, every one of us here, we don't know anything about online business. Liz is a nurse, and you know that if you're a nurse, your life is, all about the hospital, caring people and stuff like that. Studying, right? Definitely online business is not part of nursing. I'm also a nurse by profession, though I work in the corporate industry for quite some time, but starting an online business and social media, I'm not a social media person as well. Like most of you guys watching this, I know that, there's a time in your life that, I'm shy, I don't want to be in front of camera and things like that. But then again, how will you know that this will work for you or will not work for you if you will not try it? If you will not take the next step, how will you
Mhm.
know that, this will not work for you? You haven't tried it, right? In any aspect of life, you need to take that next step first before you say that, oh, this is not for me. But yeah, but definitely, I love everything that Florence said earlier. So, faith, number one, faith. So, she doesn't have any idea what online business is, like how to start a business online. But definitely, this online business that we are offering, we have coaching, mentoring, and all of us, we can confidently tell it in every, share it to everyone that there's, specific tedious training inside the community. If you're just willing to learn, then definitely you will learn everything that you need to do to, to grow this business.
Yes, and
So
it's
yeah. Third question.
okay. Uh, okay.
Okay, so third question, Coach Florence, what advice would you give to someone who's hesitant to start the business?
I think I would piggyback on what you just said there when you said, you have to be open and willing to learn. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think most of us come from an employee background, an employee mindset. You know, again, I didn't know anything about this, but I didn't even know this existed. And I think a lot of people, when back in the day when my girls were little, I got into something that might not have been so great, and what we had to do was we had to have parties, we had to have house parties, we had to invite people over and try to sell products, and it obviously didn't work because that's not me. Being an introvert, being shy, that's the last thing I wanted to do was bother people. So I
Yeah.
think my biggest advice is to think outside the box. Think about, if you don't do something, if you're happy with your life and that's where you want to be, then that's fine. This is
Mm-hmm.
not for everybody. I know
Correct.
that this is absolutely not for everybody. But if you wake up every day and you can honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm happy, my
Mm-hmm.
finances are good, I'm okay where I am, and this is where I want to be for the rest of my life, then that's perfect. But if there's something digging inside of you, knowing that you're made for more, knowing that you're worthy of having more, that you can secure your life financially and take back your time, then be open. Be open and
Yeah.
look at this information, because I can guarantee you when you see it, you will be so excited as to what you can see on the inside and what's totally possible for you. So my advice is just be open to take a look at it.
Mind blowing, right? When you see like all the information inside, it's definitely mind
Blowing.
blowing, right? like like most,
Yeah.
like I remember, Liz, you said like
Yeah.
you asked Coach Tanya, what will you tell people about saying that this business is too good to be true, right?
An
So
online
definitely.
business. There's a lot of
Correct.
online business out there.
Correct, correct. But definitely, yeah, Florence was able to like explain everything. Definitely, you need to think outside of the box. And I love what you said about looking in front of the
Mhm.
mirror. Because, yeah, definitely, we all been in, in the employee mindset for like a long time, for like more than 10 years. And this is definitely not for everyone. Not everyone wants to, what's this, conquer like the fear or move on to like the next stage of their life or whatever, right? And I remember one of my business partners saying, if you're that person or that employee who's receiving paycheck, like your secured income, definitely, and you're okay, you're getting high pay, definitely will not, think of something, starting something, right? But if you ask yourself every morning that you wake up in front of the mirror, like, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life, right? That's always a question that you need to ask yourself. Is this like, do I see myself doing this, working for someone else for 10 years, 15 years? Then definitely there will be, we know that there will be like voice inside your head that, no, this is not what I want, right? This is not what I want. This is, I'm not made for this, right? S- So yeah, so that's incredible. Liz?
And to live paycheck to paycheck, like what Coach Florence said, as long as when you look at in the mirror every day and you know you're happy of what your situation is in your life, then that's great. But if you wake up every day and you're always asking yourself, where's the money will come from with all this pile of billings coming up, then I believe this is the right time for you to really look and be open-minded, to find other things for you and your family, because
Mhm.
all of us deserve more. We all deserve, something more in our life.
For sure, for sure. So last question, right? Last question. Oh, okay. So I think I have a lot of answers here, Florence. But what changed after you start the online business?
Hi, Coach. How
Yeah.
long have you been in the business?
A lot has. Pardon me.
How long have you been in the
Sorry, I didn't
online
catch
business?
that, Liz.
How long have you been in the online
Just a little
business?
over 2.5. Just a little out over 2.5 years.
Okay.
But I do want to just touch back on one thing that you both mentioned there. When you talk about living paycheck to paycheck, I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. We were
Mhm.
making a great living. And I know a lot of people in the business that, there's doctors, there's,
Yeah.
lots of
Lawyers.
professionals,
Yeah.
lawyers, there's account managers, there's a lot of people making really good money. So we were doing really well. But the thing is, and you know what, if you love your job, that's great. But I never thought in a million years that I was actually a number and that I would be let go.
Mhm.
It wasn't all because the world turned upside down. Our department still kept people, but they decided to let me go. So don't think that, you are a number. And again, I know a lot of the people that are employees and you think you're in a good place, but when push comes to shove, um,
Mhm.
a business is a business. And
Business,
there is
correct.
absolutely no security when you are working for somebody else. There's no security when you're working for somebody else. So if you think you have a big fat savings and everything is in order, that can change. That changed 24 hours for us. In
Correct.
24 hours, that turned completely upside down for us. So don't think that you're making a lot of money and you're at the top of the corporate ladder and things are going well, because in a blink of an eye that can change. So it's not just for people who are working paycheck to paycheck. This is to take a
Yeah.
deep look inside, realize that what, when you work for somebody else, there's no financial security, none, as far as I'm concerned. So sorry, get off on that. What changed?
Thank you.
Lots have changed. So when I mentioned earlier about my story, the biggest thing for me was, yes, I've made money. We've all made money in this business, and that's great. And you can do a lot with money. But the only thing that really ever really mattered for me was I needed to find a way to manage my time so that I can spend it with my husband. So, having all the money in the world is great, but if I don't have, that time to be with my husband and to enjoy life, then it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. So the biggest thing for me was the time. We got back our time.
Yes.
We've been able to travel. We've been able, again, I'm an outdoor person. We're camping, we're taking road trips, we're spending time on the East Coast, been on cruises. Like, it's amazing to be able to, not have to ask. I can remember when I worked in the airline business, and there's a lot of perks when you work in the airline business, but but the biggest thing too is, um, you can always hop on a flight. So if you have only
Mhm.
2 weeks off and you are enjoying yourself, you need to be on that plane to get back home, to get back to work. And so,
Mhm.
we'd be out enjoying ourselves. Sometimes it was 4 days, sometimes it was 5 days, but I had to be back because my boss told me, you only have this amount of time. So the
Yeah.
time that we get to spend together is more than any dollar value that I don't that anybody can put on it. So to me, that was a huge, huge difference. I think also another big thing was peace of mind. Peace of mind knowing that we're on an amazing financial plan as far as our golden
Mhm.
years. We have older children, and I can remember when my parents are now passed, but they didn't have things set up for them in order, whenever they passed. It was chaos. What do we
Mhm.
do? My mom passed before my dad, and we had to take care of my dad. He was on the onset of Alzheimer's, and I don't want my kids to ever be burdened in taking care of us. If we have to go into a care home or whatever that is, I know that the financial means will be there and they don't have to worry. So having peace of mind, knowing, and maybe it comes with my age because I'm in my later 50s. It might be different for somebody else. But I think people, as we get older, we have to think about those things. What happens later in life, and so
Yeah.
that peace of mind, knowing that I don't have to worry about it and I don't want my
Mhm.
kids to take on that financial burden is,
Mhm.
I can sleep better at night. you know, um, I think another big thing is also, I mentioned earlier, I'm an introvert by nature.
Mhm.
And I think the fact that you're able to dig deep and pull out that person that was hiding inside because of the way society has built you up, knowing that you are worthy of having more, knowing that you do have something worthy to share. I mean, I'm on here talking about, a global business with people all over the world that I never thought was possible. So I think the personal development has been really huge as well. Yeah, so there's many. I can go on and on and on, but so many things have changed, and then also the fact that I think after a while you realize that when you reach a certain level that it's not just all about everything that you want. There's nothing absolutely more satisfying and truly satisfying than seeing somebody else succeed and even rise up to get their goals and their dreams on track. I think that's huge too. So
Mhm.
to be able to see people do that within our business is absolutely amazing. Yeah. So much of there's again so many things, and I'm sure you guys can probably attest to that as well. I've seen Liz. I'm not. I know you're just new in the business, but Janae, I've seen you come up and absolutely amazing the work that you're doing in your business, and mentoring and coaching other people. It's just absolutely amazing what you can do and offer for somebody else because of the venue that we have and the system and the community that we have in this business. It's priceless.
For sure. For sure. So again, if an introvert like Florence can do this, then definitely anyone can do
One.
this
Oh my.
business. For sure, right. And I also wanted to what's this? Piggyback on what she said earlier about, breaking the cycle. Because I remember Coach Tanya, one of the good thing about this business is that we are creating generational wealth, right? So remember, Liz, the last time that we spoke, if you're a parent, definitely your priorities would always be your kids, right?
Yes.
And now
Yeah.
I heard it again from Florence that she wants whatever that she experienced in life with with her parents, she doesn't want that to happen to her kids, right? So same
Absolutely.
thing, it's really more of breaking the cycle and making sure that the blueprint of your family and your granddaughter, grandson in the future will be better compared to what you had when you were living, right? So definitely that's wow. That's just wow. But yeah, but that's a lot of changes, right? Florence, in just like less than 2 years or 2 years in the
Mhm.
business. Imagine. So what more if you've been in the
Yeah,
business
it
for
is a
like
lot of changes.
years? Correct. Go ahead.
Well, we know personally because we know people inside the business, and we know what this business can offer. But you know what? I think the best thing is for people just to come and check it out. Come and check it out, because we can sit here all night and talk about all the great things and how my life has changed, and all of these wonderful things. But honestly, get in touch with these ladies. Come and take a look on the inside and see for yourself. Honestly, see for yourself, and you'd be surprised. And it can be from, and I used to actually doubt a lot of things because of my age. Again, I'm
Mm-hmm.
in my late 50s, and I know people in this business that are well over 80 and are just rocking it. And then they're in Mexico, to be honest,
Wow.
living out their life and their dreams. So don't let age or inexperience or anything, fear, stop you. Come and check it out, and see for yourself. And if you find that it's not for you, then that's okay too. But I can't imagine after you take a look at this that you will not be excited.
For sure,
Yes.
for sure. Liz, do you want to say something?
Definitely take the first step. It is free. It's a 90 minutes free webinar. And actually, today we have a live webinar at 6 p.m. here at MST. What time for you guys? 8 p.m.
8
MST?
p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah.
Eastern Standard Time. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
go check it out. It is
mhm.
free.
For sure, for sure. So the first step is free. So we offer a complimentary webinar where we explain the basic of the business. So you can go ahead and visit our pages, and then sign up your name and email address. And we always, like what I've always tell everyone, we always do this business step by step. If you feel like the first step you've seen, like, the surface of the business, and you feel like this is not for you, then that's totally okay, we respect that. But if you feel like you want more, you want to know
Mhm.
more, then we will guide you to the next step. And then
Yes.
from there, if you decided to go further and
Mhm.
start your business, then definitely we will be with you all the way. So in this business, there's no rush. We
Mhm.
want you to also research on your own, because, like what we've mentioned earlier, this business is not for everyone, and we totally respect that. But what we also wanted to happen is that we want you to research and get all the information that you need so you can make an informed decision. We don't want to decide for you. We want you to see it in your own eyes in order for you to decide on your own. So yeah, so again, Florence, thank you so much for your time. This is, a very productive interview. A lot
Yeah.
of insights, a lot of realizations from your
Heartwarming.
own. Correct. For sure, for sure. So yeah, so anything else, Liz? Coach Florence would like to say any closing remarks?
I think I would just say thank you. Thank you for the invite. I'm absolutely honored to be here. Liz, I know you're under good hands here with Coach Janaea, and just keep sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep believing. The thing about this business too is, it's not a job. I will say that, but if you're thinking that you're not exactly sure what it's all about, then it doesn't hurt to take a look. I can't even imagine where my life would be right now if I didn't click that button and at least find out more information. And I know a lot of people are in that circumstances as well, and lives have changed globally. So yeah, thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
again, Florence.
Thank
Liz,
you,
we're okay?
everyone that's
Okay.
watching, either on the
Happy
live or the
Thursday.
replay later. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. See you again next week. Bye bye.
Bye.